Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj, and today we are joined by another genius, Gemma Price, an award-winning tech CEO and master intuitive psychology coach who help high achievers beat burnout, unlock fulfillment, and build people-first business in an AI-driven world. Gemma, welcome to the circle.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I have a couple of roles, as you mentioned there, but I'm CEO of HubGem. And so we are specialists in HubSpot CRM software. And I've grown that. I started that as my little business baby a few years ago. And we've now got a team of 20 of us serving clients around the world. So that's one of my roles. And I'm also a master intuitive psychology coach, which is all about working with the subconscious mind. And I help leaders to really work out what's going on beneath the surface.
Now I'm curious, like how you're not getting burnout.
Well, because of my own coaching experience. So, growing a company is hard. A lot of work goes in. I also have a young family, two young children, and so yeah, life is busy. But about a year ago, I was starting to feel the burnout. I was really starting to just notice that my spark was going a little bit. I was feeling on edge and stressed a lot. And I've always been interested in mindset and psychology, and I read a lot about it. And I decided to try and work out what was going on in my brain. And I qualified to become a master intuitive psychology coach. And as part of that, I have been coached myself. And it was just incredible because what I thought was going on was not actually what was really happening. So there was things that stories we tell ourselves, right? I need to work harder. I need to do more. I can't rest because everyone needs me. And I've been telling myself all these things, and it was only when I was coached myself that I was able to recognize what was happening there. And so now I find it a lot easier to manage multiple businesses because I feel a lot more connected to myself. And so I no longer feel the burnout. I used to.
Okay, for a listener who don't know what is subconscious mind, can you tell?
Yeah, sure. So our brain is incredible. And I don't think we realize we're walking around with this incredible piece of technology in our heads sometimes. So when we're having a conversation like we are now, or when we're going about our day or doing our to-do list, we're using the conscious mind, the thinking mind. And that actually forms just 5% of our lived experience. 95% of everything else is unconscious or subconscious. So it's happening without thinking. So some of that's obvious, like bodily functions, right? Our bodies are breathing and remembering how to do that. We don't have to think about that. But also, there's lots of other things going on because the processing power it would take to, if we think of all of our senses, everything we see, everything we hear, taste, smell, and feel in our body as well, the experience of just feeling what it feels like to be alive, we couldn't consciously process all of that. So our brain filters out, right? Here's what you need to think about. This stuff I'll just take care of. We don't need to think about it. And so that's really good. It means it allows us to live and thrive. But what it means is that there's 95% of our brain's processing is actually taking place without us being aware of it. And so when I talk about subconscious, what I'm referring to is the stuff that's going on that you're not thinking about. And often this is where narratives and stories from our past can play out. If I give you an example, so let's say that you, when you were a child, were told by your parents, if you work hard, I'm proud of you, right? So common. I think everybody does. That's great. And it's done with good intentions. But then what happens is as we grow older and we move through life and we get rewarded, say for I worked hard, I got rewarded, we can reach a point where that program is playing in the background all the time without us being aware. It's just running. And so then, if you give the example of burnout, we almost don't feel we can slow down because in order for people to accept us and be proud of us, we have to keep working harder. And so really when we work with the subconscious mind, it's about, I guess, opening the lid and looking inside what's really going on. Because whilst lots of the subconscious is amazing, it can also be holding us back. without us even realizing. And so that's the work I do, is help people work out what's really going on.
Can you share a real life story where a shift in subconscious mind led to a breakthrough in business? And it could be about you or a story of a client, and you can keep it anonymous if you want.
Yeah, oh gosh, I I have lots. I'll give you a personal example first, and then I have a really nice one from a client as well.
Okay.
So I was noticing that certain situations when I'm running my business, I'm very hands-on. I'm a leader, but I have to get stuck in sometimes, with the team, with the technology, the operations, whatever is needed. And I was noticing that certain things were really draining me. So I would get to my desk and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this. And it was leading to, I recognize now, a bit of a physical response. I'm like, oh, this is overwhelming me, a sense of, oh God, it's all a bit much. And actually, when I step back and look rationally, it'd be no big deal, but it felt like a big deal. And this was happening a lot. So I was being coached, working with a subconscious mind, and we do some techniques called working with parts, so it's eyes closed coaching, because you have to go deep, and we get into a regulated state, which I can talk about in a second. You basically tune into your intuition and say what is going on really. And our intuition speaks to us, the subconscious speaks to us in visuals, imagery, metaphors, and feelings. And I suddenly, in this coaching session, I was saying, what's going on in business? Why is these things draining me and overwhelming me when I know they're no big deal? Why do I feel like they are? And suddenly this memory came back to me from when I was 7 years old. And my parents, who were amazing parents, but they made me wear an outfit that I didn't want to wear. Honestly, it's so unrelated to business. And what came up when I reconnected through that, there was a program in the subconscious mind that had been, I don't know, put in when I was 7 years old that said, you need to have your voice heard and you need to be heard. And I remember wearing this outfit and feeling so unheard and frustrated at the time. And that was playing out. So then what I joined up the dots, what was happening in business, a scenario was playing out where I didn't feel that I was being heard. This could be with clients or with the team. And I didn't feel I was being heard. And although my conscious mind goes, oh, it's fine, the subconscious program was going, no, this is bad. This makes you feel all these feelings. I would never have been able to consciously say, oh yeah, one day when I was 7, I wore this outfit, right? And yet it was playing out in business. So then we worked to release that. We worked through, we alchemized, we accepted and let it go. So that no longer plays out for me. So that same scenario now in business doesn't have the same effect. So that's one example. Client example that just was incredible.
Yeah, tell me.
So one of my clients, he was feeling trapped. So he was a high achiever, really high up leader, a really senior position, and let's say on the outside, very successful. He came to coaching with me feeling, look, I've ticked all the boxes and I still just don't feel happy. What's going on? And we worked over sort of 7 weeks. I worked with him to work with the subconscious mind and find out what was going on. And our intuition won't lie to us. It is the root, it's how we really feel, because it opens up the doors to all that stuff that we can't remember maybe, or the conscious mind can't access. And when I got beneath the surface with him, we recognized that basically his job was not aligned to what he really wanted to do. And he had to be honest with himself. In that space, you can't lie to yourself, right? So he had to be honest. And the work he was doing, whilst he was very successful, he'd actually begun to feel quite trapped by it. And, the gut feeling was going, no, this is wrong. But he was in his head saying, no, this is right. I've got to do it. This is my job. So again, I think that's quite common. And we can also refer to intuition as gut feelings. And I think everybody knows what you mean then.
Yeah, so in simple words, subconscious mind and conscious were clashing.
Yeah. Yeah, basically he was ignoring how he really felt, because his conscious mind said, no, good job, this is what I should be doing. And his body was saying, no, this is wrong, or his subconscious.
Okay, so what happened when people ignored their intuition?
Yeah, so it's a lot of people do this. And I think the problem is that we have become so focused on the outside world that,
Okay. Before I answer that, I have one thing to talk about. So, subconscious is built upon what we have consumed, what we have seen, and our experience in our life. Okay, right?
yeah, yeah, it's a
Okay. So
vast
suppose,
storehouse of information.
suppose someone have some kind of bad kind of like past,
Trauma.
and intuition should be something like different. I mean, everyone should have different intuition, right? According to their past life.
Yeah, so when we work with the subconscious mind, we have to be aware of any trauma or bad things that have happened. And everybody experiences trauma to varying degrees. So, bad stuff, but also just life as well can feel traumatic, even if it's not major trauma. So we're very careful, and this is why it's important to work with an accredited specialist if you're doing this type of work, because you don't know, right? When you open the lid on that box, you don't know what you're going to find all the time. So when I'm coaching somebody, I'm monitoring everything about their body language. I can see if they start to go into a dysregulated state where they're starting the fear is there, they might start to look tense. Then I know just to slow down and just check in. Do you feel safe to go here? You won't go anywhere that you don't want to. You have to be willing to go there.
So, what do you think? Like, do business owners sabotage their business because of their subconscious?
All the time. So I think the worst thing is that people don't always realize that that's what they're doing. So yeah, I think as a business owner, like you've got so many things that need you, right? And so many areas you could put your focus and your attention. I think the number one thing is make sure that you're doing something that is actually aligned with what you want to do. You can very easily in business just say, I've got to do this and I should do this and this is what's expected of me, or I've just got to keep working harder. But if we're not taking the time to look inwards and recognize how we're really feeling, then I think we can go off down the wrong path and get so far along it that we feel we can't go back. Also, there's a lot of fears, deep-rooted fears that people hold. For example, the fear of judgment. We're scared of what other people will think. The fear of rejection. We're so scared that people will say, I don't like you, or what you're doing is wrong, or something. And those are really genuine fears. But I think we can be so in our heads that we try and ignore those fears. And it can lead us down into a space of holding on to all that stress and emotion because we don't know how to process it. And that will show up in life and business.
So, for business owners under pressure, like, what's daily or weekly practice would you recommend to keep our subconscious mind working for them, not against them?
Yeah, there's it's so simple, really, right? People need to slow down, sometimes make the time to just slow down a bit. So this was something, again, I feel I learned the hard way, but just take some time to just breathe. And people can struggle with this. It's amazing how much people's brains
I
don't
am
let
one
them.
of those.
Yeah. I don't have time for that. The brain will start to try and take control. You don't have time. This is a waste of your time. What are you doing? You should do this. Yeah, we have like a really cruel boss in our heads that goes, no, don't slow down. But practice. And I'm not talking, sitting on a mountaintop for a week. I'm talking 5 minutes in the morning. Close down your eyes and just breathe. Notice how your body feels that day. Because in doing that type of practice, you become more in tune with how you really feel. And that's really powerful. So my practice now, every morning, I take 10 minutes to just close down my eyes, breathe, and just check in. How do I actually feel today? Just to be honest with myself. And it might be feeling a bit stressed. I'm feeling a bit tired, or I'm so excited to get stuck in. Like it can vary, and that's normal. I think we can, and particularly I would say business leaders, we can really struggle with discomfort. So if we notice we're feeling anything other than I'm the best business person in the world, then we can struggle to accept that. And that can lead to us trying to ignore our feelings all the time. So, just that 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning, just to sit there and go, how am I feeling today? And listen from a place of without judgment. So I'm feeling a bit fed up. Okay, I hear you. Thanks for sharing. Like, let's see, is there anything we can do? Do we know why that is? It's about not judging it, because what can happen is the thinking brain goes, what do you mean you're fed up? You've got a busy day ahead. Come on, get on with it. And you think, gosh, give me a break. So, yeah, I think one of the most powerful things that we can do is slow down. Now, where there are deep-rooted psychological programs in the subconscious mind, and if we recognize that this is really hindering us in life and business, one example I use is people who want to get healthy and fit, right? And you should go to the gym and you should eat right. We know that in our thinking minds, but whether we do it is completely different. That's subconscious programs at play. So sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we can't just overcome them. So that is where you might choose to go into a deeper practice. Meditation is incredibly powerful for that. Or working with a coach like myself, it can be easier to be guided if there is something at play, to be guided through it. Because, if it's deep rooted, it might take a couple of sessions to get to the root of the problem. But immediately, just slowing down a bit really helps.
Yeah, I think like working with a coach is much more better because you get like instant feedback. Like coach will tell you you're doing this wrong, this is good, keep doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our brains will try and get us back into go, go, go. Like honestly, it's a boss that never has a day off. What I would say as well, I've obviously spoken about the past and programs
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
But actually, the biggest superpower in business is intuition used in alignment to help you look forward to the future. And this is such an untapped resource that any leader, business owner can use. If you look at Jeff Bezos at Amazon, Oprah Winfrey, right? I could name loads. Basically, all the big successful leaders, and they will all say, I had a gut feeling that I just needed to do this. And in business, if you want to make it big in business, you need to be ahead of other people, right? You need to find the idea and make sure that you do the best. And so actually, where this is, I again use this all the time in business, just tuning into your intuition and go, actually, I've suddenly realized this. And because it uses all that data, that 95% of our minds, storehouse of data, you can intentionally access that. And that's powerful. It will become your greatest business superpower if you can learn to tune into that intuition. With the help of a coach, you will get there much faster. And I use this all the time. I use it to decide what services we're going to launch. I use it to pivot when let's say, a new target market. I use it in my leadership, making sure that, I know, oh, I need to do this. And I know that because my intuition is telling me and I've learned to trust it. And so I think there's the past stuff, which does need to be worked through,
Yeah.
but also future looking. You can tap into business opportunities that other people haven't thought of yet if you are able to tap into your intuition.
So, how can someone differentiate like intuition to traditional like business strategies?
Yes, it's the most important thing is to tune in and just listen. And I know that people find that hard, especially business owners. You can go in, so you have to get to the state where you can access your intuition. You have to close down your eyes and you have to regulate your nervous system. This is so important. So then, when you're in this state, you could ask questions. I regularly do this. You get yourself into a regulated state and you ask a question. What should I do? What should I do next? Or how can I grow the business? And the answers will come to you. And it's so cool when you do this, right? Because the answers don't come from here. If you're truly able to quieten the thinking mind, the answers come from like here, and they pop into your head. And I've had clients go, like, almost like, wake up, where did that come from? Like we're not used to it. I think we've lost touch with it. So if you want to use this to build business strategy, then quieting the mind, getting to this space and asking the question that you need an answer to. But the more you do this, the more the answers just come to you. But you don't need to wait for spontaneous, I think people think of gut feelings as spontaneous. Like it just happened. But you can intentionally activate and ask questions, but you have to be in the right state to do it.
So, what type of clients do you enjoy working with the most?
Yeah, I really love working with people who have maybe not done this before. Sometimes there's a little bit of a bit of skepticism, right? I don't know if I really believe it. And that's not the easiest client to work with, but I get it because I have been in my head. You don't grow a tech company without being in your head a lot of the time. So I really love it when I get a business leader or an entrepreneur or anybody who spends a lot of time in their head and they come to me going, I think there might be something here, but I don't know. You're going to have to prove to me. And it's not me proving, it's actually them proving to themselves that they can slow down safely. So guiding them through that journey, and it can be challenging, just to get them to close their eyes. They can feel quite vulnerable and they're not used to that. But there's this point with clients like that where they just bam, and they get that first intuitive hit of information and they realize that they haven't consciously ever thought of it, and it has come to them, and it gives me goosebumps because they get there in that coaching session and they sit there and look at that, wow, okay, this is real. Yes, it is. And that is so rewarding. And seeing then how they apply this innate wisdom in business to transform their lives and lead them to be happier and more successful, that is incredible. So yeah, business leaders, entrepreneurs, anyone who spends a lot of time in their head, I just think there's so much value in this work.
Okay, awesome. For our listeners who want to connect with you, want to hire you, or want to know more about you, where can they reach out?
Yeah, so my website is purposepanda.co.uk, and there's loads of information on there there's free resources, there's free guided meditations, there's downloadable workbooks. There's a lot of stuff for you to just go and have a test with it, see how you feel. And then in addition to that, there's loads of ways on there that you can contact me. You can email me, gemma@purposepanda.co.uk, and I'm happy to have a chat, answer any questions. And I do offer a taster session, which is just a one-off taster session to allow somebody to see how they feel about it as well.
So, is there anything else would you like to share?
I would just encourage people, if this has sparked that little bit inside you that goes, I know there's something in this, I feel it, my gut is telling me this is accurate, then let's have a chat, because I can help you unlock a superpower you didn't realize you had, and I would love to help you on that journey.
Wow, we love superpowers.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you so much, Gemma. That was fantastic. I have taken plenty of notes, and I'm sure our listeners have gained a lot of value from this as well. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too.